In this video, we're going to talk about the needless wasting of adaptation energy. For the beginner, just about any form of resistance exercise will represent an increased intensity to the overall system, but not all forms of resistance exercise utilize the same quantity of energy from the body. The stronger one gets, the more energy is used up, and the harder it becomes for the body to part with more of it. The body, over a million years or so of evolution, have become tremendously adept at conserving energy, which is one reason obesity is such a problem today. While conserving energy or storing fat was useful when meals were scarce, we now live in an age in which most of us are literally minutes away from thousands of calories that are readily available for consumption at any time of the day or night. And while our bodies have developed an awesome capacity to store energy, they have also conversely, but for the same biological reasons, presumably cultivated a strong disinclination to expend energy. This condition reflects an evolutionary hedge against future needs and dearths, particularly a type of energy that can be accessed only in emergencies that will allow the organism to continue to function despite the most demanding circumstances. According to Selly, this adaptation energy is something quite apart from caloric energy, being inherited by each individual and does not exist in infinite supply. There's a book he has out called Stress Without Distress, and you can find on pages 28-29, he says the following. Although we have no precise scientific method for measuring adaptation energy, experiments with laboratory animals offer rather convincing evidence that the capacity for adaptation is finite. Our reserves of adaptation energy could be compared to an inherited fortune from which we can make withdrawals, but there is no proof that we can also make additional deposits. We can squander our adaptability recklessly, burning the candle at both ends, or we can learn to make this valuable resource last long by using it wisely and sparingly, only for things that are worthwhile and cause least distress. As I have said, we have no objective proof that additional deposits of adaptation energy can be made beyond that inherited from our parents. Yet everyone knows from personal experience that after complete exhaustion by excessively stressful work during the day, a good night's sleep, and even after more severe exhaustion, a few weeks of restful holidays, can restore our resistance and adaptability very close to what it was before. If this is the case, we must distinguish between superficial and deep adaptation energy. Superficial adaptation energy is immediately available upon demand, like money in a bank account that is readily accessible by writing out a check. On the other hand, deep adaptation energy is stored away safely as a reserve, just as part of our inherited fortune may be invested in stocks and bonds, which must first be sold to replenish our checking account, thus furnishing another supply of immediately usable cash. Still, after a lifetime of constant expenditure, even our last investments will eventually be exhausted if we only spend and never earn. A bodybuilder who elects to train with lots of sets many days per week is burning the candle at both ends. And distressed researcher concludes saying that this will deplete his reserves of superficial adaptation energy. If the bodybuilder continues to train in such an exhaustive fashion over time, this will lead to a gradual draining of his deeper reserves of adaptation energy, causing them to be squandered in the attempt merely to replenish his growing depth of superficial adaptation energy. This is energy squandered recklessly, as all of his adaptation energy will eventually be used up, not in the creation of larger and stronger muscles, but in covering the energy expended in his needlessly lengthy and too frequent workouts. If instead the bodybuilder uses his adaptive energy wisely, specifically to energize the production of additional size and strength, and sparingly, with short bursts of intense training performed infrequently, only a small portion of energy will go toward offsetting the energy costs created by his workouts, which will be briefer and far less frequent, leaving more energy available to go toward producing additional size and strength increases. So the question I want to leave you with is, are you falling for the fallacy that thinking more is better? And a lot of things more is better, more money, more health, but with a stressor like bodybuilding, high intensity exercise, more doesn't necessarily mean better. Ask yourself when you're working out, can you actually give it more effort and give more intensity and decrease the volume? You may see better results.